We just did a social media Instagram Live with you and your followers, and we asked if they were believing her story. So far, overwhelmingly, not looking good. Let's find out what our guest for this hour thinks. Bringing in from Atlanta, Georgia, trial attorney Quentin Washington. Thanks for being on the program. Nice to see you back here. What are your overall thoughts of this cross-examination and her testimony?
There are a ton of inconsistencies. And because of that, we're now at the point where we've got a credibility clash, right? It's a credibility clash because the jury has to decide whose credibility they believe. Do they believe the state or do they believe the defendants? And here, it's clear that the inconsistencies take away from them believing her.
We've got a man who's MIA here, Quentin. We have Jeffrey Hayes, who is one of the people the prosecution said helped her cover this up. And she's talking a lot about him. We thought he might testify, and he hasn't. Do you think he could have been a co-defendant here? Could they have tried them together, or would that not have worked in a situation like this?
He could have been a co-defendant, but many times they may try to give out, as you know, the immunity deals in which you come and testify and become part of the evidence for the prosecution. And so in a situation like this, there's no right or wrong, but they're trying to make sure that they have enough evidence because they know that the inconsistencies may not bridge the reasonable doubt gap that they have to be able to get a conviction.
Especially when they have the issue with the medical examiner saying that it's inconclusive as to whether this is suicide or a homicide. Quentin, stay with us. We're going to get in our break. When we come back, we'll have more from Samantha Krebs on the stand. Plus, our own Kelly Craft is going to join us to talk about our latest trial out of Tampa, Florida. 5 defendants on trial for the alleged killing of a 4-year-old little girl. All of that after the break.
This isn't just a body oil. It's a touch of luxury. A flawless golden glow that deeply hydrates and blurs imperfections. For skin so radiant, it's impossible to ignore. New Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula. Shimmer Radiance.
At your next big event, everything needs to feel just right. From the presentation to the products, 4imprint provides outstanding branded gear, guaranteed to show up sharp and right on time. Visit 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
This is a story about the one who never stops. She needs a reliable partner, like Granger, who works around the clock. Because she knows the domino effect is real. And there's never a good time for downtime. When it's all on the line, having the supply she needs makes all the difference. The industrial-grade products you need, all in one place. Call, click Granger.com, or stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, I'm Veronica.
My name is Darvin.
I'm Courtney.
I'm Jackie.
And we switched to Consumer Cellular.
My previous provider was terrible.
Surprise, we've changed your rate.
We wouldn't get to talk to a person.
And then all of a sudden it disconnects.
Now with Consumer Cellular, no problems.
Better customer service. They tell me exactly what I'm paying and why I'm paying for it.
It's within $1 of being half of my old bill.
With Verizon, I was paying about $150 a month. With Consumer Cellular, I'm paying about half that.
Okay, this is doable. This is affordable.
I'm getting the exact same coverage for half the price. That's a beautiful thing.
Done deal.
I got to keep my phone. I got to keep my number.
Switching over took about 20 minutes. That's it.
It's month to month, very simple.
It's been amazing.
I was now a Consumer Cellular customer.
And I've been bragging to my friends about it too.
Call 800-609-2175
to switch and save up to half with Consumer Cellular. Plus, new customers can save $25 when they switch today.
Entyvio is the only gut-focused treatment for moderate to severe Crohn's and UC. Gut-focused Entyvio works right where you need it to block inflammation in your gut. With a legacy of more than 10 years, Entyvio offers the experience you need, lasting relief and steroid-free remission. And some people experience rapid symptom relief. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. Although unlikely, PML, a rare brain infection that can result in death, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, sores, or are prone to infections. Liver problems can occur. With Entyvio, you may be able to pay as little as $5 per dose. Ask your doctor if Entyvio, including the Entyvio pen, is right for you.
Gut focused Intivio.
Drive Time makes it easy to buy a car.
Yeah, already approved. That was easy.
Yep, and you can even customize your own terms on every car.
Oh, there's a little slider thing. I can change my down payment?
Yeah, and we have thousands of cars under 15 grand.
I never had this kind of power. Boom! Lower! Lower! Lowest down option. Low monthly payment option. I'm making my own deal on all these cars!
Welcome to Car Buying Made Easy. This is a commercial. Go get your real deal at drivetime.com.
Psst, psst. Meet Earl. Earl, like all cats, craves food that's meaty and juicy. But in a dog eats first world, he's never had food made with his needs in mind. Luckily, his human found Smalls. Smalls makes gently cooked fresh food that's junk-free. Just meaty, juicy, natural ingredients. For a limited time, go to smalls.com/smallstv and get 50% off your first order.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. We will get you back inside of that courtroom where we're watching the case for the death of Joey Carnot play out, but we want to give you an update out of Tampa, Florida. Our latest live trial is one where 5 men are facing first-degree murder charges for the death of a 4-year-old little girl.
Prosecutors say that Sunny Bell was riding in the back seat of a car with her family when 3 cars pulled up alongside and people shot 40 shots at that vehicle that she was riding in, killing her mother and uncle surviving. For the very latest, let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Craft live in studio. Kelly, nice to see you. Please catch us up on what's been happening thus far today.
Well, hi there, Matt and Julia. Such a heartbreaking case we've been watching out of Tampa, Florida. They've been on a lunch break so far. They're expected back in about 5 minutes to continue on with testimony. So far, we've heard from 3 witnesses today. We've heard from a lot of law enforcement officials, in particular those from Tampa, talking about the crime scene. You're taking a look at some images now that they have been showing in court throughout the court proceedings this morning. And those 40 bullets, those 40 shots that riddled that car, that Infiniti, the shots were ringing out and then the car crashed. Why don't we go ahead and listen to a detective who took the stand? This was just before lunch, and he's talking about what he found at the crime scene.
So from where you were positioned at the car looking north, what was the distance to the farthest evidence marker to your west?
From the point of reference to the farthest to evidence mark 47 was 582 feet.
That was just some of the testimony from this morning from the detective. Again, things will be getting back underway shortly in Tampa, and we will bring you updates as soon as they become available. Julia and Matt.
Kelly Craft, thank you for that update, keeping us abreast of everything that's happening in this one. We are going to go back to Wisconsin for more testimony in the kiss and kill murder trial. We still have on the stand defendant Samantha Krebs. She's been answering questions about why she reacted the way that she did in this case, where the big question is, was it a murder or was it a suicide? She's on cross-examination by the prosecution.
Now, in this time, if we go back to Christy and John, they're in the apartment for about 45 minutes. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay, and John Hayes leaves about 20 minutes into that. Does that sound about right?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, we saw a video of John Hayes, or I'm sorry, this is my error. John and Christy were upstairs for about 45 minutes, right?
I learned that later, yes. I didn't know that.
Okay. Okay. And you see Jeff Hayes leave about 20 minutes into that 45 minutes, right?
Jeff Hayes leaving?
Yes, you saw him exit the apartment and go by his car when John and Christy were still in the apartment, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And Jeff Hayes' apartment is really small, right?
Yes.
In fact, it's like an efficiency.
Yes.
And the bed is in the same room where the kitchen is?
No. No, the bedroom is separate from the kitchen.
But all in kind of one big general room, right?
No.
Okay, so it's a 1-bedroom apartment?
Yes.
Okay, we heard earlier that it was an efficiency?
You walk in and there's the kitchen, and then you walk through a door, and then that's his bedroom.
Okay.
And the bathroom's connected, so.
Okay. So there's about a 25-minute period where John and Christy are upstairs in the apartment, right?
Correct.
And during that time is when John Hayes gets your phone, where you give it to him, right?
You've used the phrase John Hayes several times.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
My error.
confused.
I'll re-ask the question. Let me re-ask the question. That's my error. So you said that when you're in, I'm sorry, that John Pfeffer and Christy Cleland are in the apartment for about 45 minutes, right?
Correct.
And you testified yesterday that you gave John Pfeffer your phone, right?
Correct.
And that was when you were up in the apartment as well.
Correct.
And they're up there with you for about 25 minutes after Jeff Hayes leaves the apartment, right?
Correct.
So the only 3 people in the apartment for about 25 minutes are you, John Pfeffer, and Christy Cleland, right?
That is correct.
And those are also the 3 people that were in the apartment last before law enforcement arrived and before you left the night before with Joey, right?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you were worried about what was on your phone?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, you had a conversation with your friend. What was your friend Brittany's last name?
Durant.
Okay, thank you. So not Brittany Hippis, right?
No.
So Brittany Durant, a friend of yours, right?
Yes.
And do you remember you had a conversation about there being evidence of threatening to stab Joey on your phone?
No.
Okay. We listened to a call that you had with Brittany where you talked about previously having threatened to stab, or let me say this. In this phone call, there's a call where you said, who hasn't threatened to stab their boyfriend? Do you remember?
Yes.
And then you laughed, right?
Yes.
In fact, cackled might be a right word, right? Like a pretty good laugh.
Yes.
Okay. And this was after Joey was dead, right?
Correct.
And it was after you knew that he was stabbed to death, right?
Yes.
And this was funny to you because you laughed, right?
Yes.
And you heard testimony that you had threatened to stab Joey previously, right?
Yes.
And in fact, you had threatened to stab Joey previously, hadn't you?
I don't know that for a fact.
You don't know if you ever threatened to stab your boyfriend?
No, I don't want to guess.
Okay. Well, we heard testimony that 2 people have heard that you have threatened to stab Joey, right?
Yes.
And that's true, right?
No.
You never threatened to stab Joey before.
I don't recall if I did or if I didn't.
Okay. So you give your phone to John Pfeffer, and then you continue, or then over the course of the weekend, you're using Jeff Hayes' phone, as we've talked about, right?
That is correct.
And then on July 20th at 12:30 a.m., so just kind of Friday right into the very early morning hours of Saturday, John Pfeffer sends you via Jeff Hayes a text that your phone is gone permanently, right?
Yes.
Now, Exhibit 146 said that Jeff Hayes was talking about having this sexual relationship with you. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And in fact, later on, do you have, on August 23rd, do you have a phone call with Jeff that is an extremely sexual phone call with him?
Objection, Judge.
All right, we'll take a sidebar and visit on that. The jurors can stand and stretch, and I'll visit with the attorneys.
They're taking a break in sidebar there inside of the courtroom. Let's take a sidebar of our own. We're going to get to break and come back and watch more of this cross-examination of the defendant on the stand, one of the most pivotal moments of any trial, the case against Samantha Krebs.
She kisses Joy and says, "Sorry, I love you."
Was this an accident or murder?
And that is where the truth begins to get twisted.
The Kiss and Kill murder trial. Trial coverage today on Court TV.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, she's accused of killing her boyfriend, kissing him, and telling police he stabbed himself. We're unpacking today's defendant testimony from the Kiss and Kill murder trial.
Closing Arguments tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
My allergic itch was a growing problem for me and my human. Then the vet gave me Apoquel. It works at the source and starts relieving itch in as fast as 4 hours.
May cause worsening of existing parasitic skin infestations, serious infections, or pre-existing cancers. New neoplasias have been observed. Do not use in dogs under 12 months of age with serious infections or in breeding, pregnant, or lactating dogs.
Big or little itch, ask for Apoquel. Apoquel.
When surprise breakdowns happen, American Home Shield will be there to fix or replace parts of the systems and appliances you rely on every day. They help protect your time and money by connecting you with qualified pros and helping pay for covered repairs or replacements. AHS offers flexible and affordable plans for every home. Sign up today and get 50% off. Visit ahs.com or call 833-PLAN-AHS for this limited time offer.
My husband hadn't missed work in 15 years. His injury required months of rehabilitation, and unfortunately, the insurance company didn't see it that way. I was working 2 jobs, but it wasn't enough. One conversation with Pond Lee Hockey changed everything. We sat down, told him our story, and they guided us through the whole workers' compensation legal process.
Pond Lee Hockey. Tell us your story.
I was running our own family business, and then COVID hit. Then we had almost nothing.
I had tens of thousands of dollars hanging over my head, working full-time, oftentimes multiple jobs.
I had over $43,000 in debt. That's when I called National Debt Relief.
There was hope that came from that call.
All those feelings of shame really evaporated.
They treated me like a real person, not a number.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief negotiates with your creditors to reduce the amount you owe.
I knew without a doubt I made the right choice when I went with National Debt Relief.
Now that I'm out of debt, I feel free, I feel powerful.
I'm doing the things I want to do, singing in a chorus. I'm traveling with my husband.
My life is moving forward. I'm thriving. Our family's thriving.
National Debt Relief got me out of debt.
If you owe more than $10,000, call or visit nationaldebtrelief.com to find out how you can become debt-free.
You've put up with your old shower for too long. It's outdated, unsafe, and it's time to replace it. But why struggle with a lengthy shower remodel when Jacuzzi can do it in just one day? And there's no need to break a sweat or your budget.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering 0 interest and 0 payments for up to 1 year.
So you can finally convert your old bath to a safer, easy entry shower, complete with a custom seat, grab bars, and slip-resistant floor installed in 1 day.
My overall experience with Jacuzzi has been wonderful. Everything was customized to the way I wanted it for the price that I wanted to pay.
I've had a great experience from start to finish.
Don't take matters into your own hands. Do it the smart way. Give Jacuzzi Bath Remodel a call.
Call or go online now to jacuzzibathremodel.com. We're waiving all installation costs and there's no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-640-2521. That's 800-640-2521. Call now.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Let's get you back inside of the kiss and kill murder trial playing out in Wisconsin, where the defendant, Samantha Krebs, is on the stand. She is facing life in prison if convicted of killing her fiance, Joey. Prosecutors say that she stabbed her boyfriend, her fiance, in the chest and then instructed friends to tell police that he stabbed himself.
Krebs then allegedly kissed the victim, told him that she loved him, and fled before police could arrive. Now she is charged on trial for first-degree intentional homicide. The defendant is still on the stand, as you mentioned, and on cross. Let's get you back into court for more.
Now, if we could put on the screen Exhibit 132. Do you see this text to you, essentially, I think through Jeff Hayes' phone? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Through your phone on July 19th, 2024 at 9:22. Yes. And do you see on Exhibit 133 the attachment that was in 132's text message about Appleton police investigate suspicious death?
Yes.
And you see a picture of the apartment complex on there?
Yes.
And in that message, was that actually on Jeff's phone? That message with your mom?
I don't remember if it was my phone or Jeff's phone.
Okay. So in that message, if we could look at that attachment, it says that Appleton police are investigating a death. Investigators call suspicious. Police responded Thursday night just before 10 p.m. to a residence in the 2800 block of North Park Drive Lane for an injured male. While life-saving measures were performed, police said he was deceased. Do you see that?
Yes.
And that text was sent to you at 9:22:05. So that's July 19th, the morning after, right?
Can we clarify?
PM. I'm sorry, it's PM.
Yes.
Okay. And Exhibit 133 has that message, or has that attachment, but doesn't indicate the name of anybody, right?
Yes.
Doesn't say Joey's name in there, right?
No.
So it hadn't been announced yet who was deceased, right?
Correct.
And then if we look at Exhibit 134, it says on the top from Sam's mom, isn't that, it says Joyous, but it's really meant to be Joey's, right? Because we see that below.
Yes.
Okay, isn't that Joey's car on the left of the apartment picture? And that's at 9:29 p.m., right?
Yes.
And then you have Jeff Hayes' phone and you're responding to your mom about that. At all, I can't believe my love is gone. Do you see that?
Yes.
And so you were upset that you weren't mentioned in that article, right?
I was more surprised than upset.
It says that's so fucking sad they didn't mention me at all, right?
Yes.
And you're focused on you, right?
Yes.
And not how sad Joey's dead, but how sad they didn't mention you at all, right?
Well, first, they didn't mention me at all.
Yep.
And then I say, I can't believe he's gone.
Right. But you say you're worried about them not mentioning you and how sad that is, right?
I was surprised.
Okay, well, they didn't mention his name either, right? Okay, so you're focused on you, right?
Yes.
And you saw on July 19th in the mid-afternoon around 3:30 or so, the video of Jeff Hayes removing decals from the back of your car in Exhibit 200, right?
Yes.
And you had a phone call with your mom in November of 2024. Do you recall that?
Yes.
where you said that they think they have my car, but they can't prove it was my car. Do you
Correct.
remember that?
Yes, I do.
And you went on to say, when they found my car, it didn't have stickers on it, right?
Yes.
And you're aware that we know that's your car, right?
Yes.
And in fact, we can see those stickers coming off and why that changes, right?
Yes.
And that was also a lie when you were talking to your mom.
Yes.
Now, do you recall the video where Jeff Hayes gives you kind of that bucket hat or fishing hat?
Yes, I do.
And that's at night when you're sitting in the corner of the smoke shack, right?
Yes.
And it kind of disguises your face, right?
No, it wasn't meant for disguise.
I didn't say what was it meant to, but I said it does disguise your face, right?
Could I see a picture?
Sure. Exhibit 105, do you see it there?
Yes, I can still see my face.
Okay, but it's kind of a wide brim hat, right? Yes. And it's right, yes, you said? And it's 8:45 at night, right?
Yes.
I think we need to clarify, there's a
Oh.
timing issue.
Sure, I'm sorry, it's probably 44 minus 38, so it's approximately, here we do the math, 10 after-ish, right? Or 8:06, I think?
Yes.
Okay, so about 8 o'clock at night. Thank you for that clarification. As we go into the other exhibits, you saw a video of you standing in the smoke shack talking to an individual that lives at Veterans Village at night, right?
Can you be more specific?
Sure. After you're wearing this hat, you're in kind of the smoke shack talking to someone where you see someone drive into the driveway. Do you remember that?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. Would it help if we refreshed your recollection?
Yes, please.
All right, let me go to the right video. Okay, so I'm gonna play channel 2 on Vet Village Videos for Trial Krebs at Night in the Corner, #1, channel 2, which is the smoke shack. And I'm gonna play that if you can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thanks. So if we pause it first, just to kind of clarify what it is, if we back up. In this video, we have July 19th at about 9:14, right?
Yes.
All right, and this exhibit was 1 minute and 15 seconds. Do you see yourself on there?
Yes.
And you're wearing orange?
Yes, reddish orange.
Okay, reddish orange shirt, black shorts,
Correct.
standing under the smoke shack?
Yep.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
we're gonna play that.
Still with us, trial attorney Quentin Washington from the beautiful city of Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks for being with us. Your final thoughts on how this is going. This prosecutor, very meticulous, but can you lose the jury?
Oh, Quentin, I think you have your mute on.
Yeah, you can. But Jeff, in talking about Jeff Hayes, he's kind of like the ghost guest, right?
the prosecution doesn't necessarily want him there because the details that he could provide would not help their case because he's going to testify and they'll make way most favorable to Ms. Krebs. But at the same time, Ms. Krebs doesn't necessarily want him on the stand, because if he gets on the stand, he's talking about how he's helping to cover up and hide car decals and all that stuff. And so in the end, I think this case is, the jury's got to decide about who they believe based on the credibility that they've seen from Ms. Krebs, and she's being really inconsistent right now. Yeah. And remember, reasonable doubt is not that much given how the evidence has been presented in this case.
I know, Quentin, you're not only a trial attorney, but also a former judge. You've seen a lot of attorneys and how they handle certain things in a courtroom. What do you think, and I'd love to get your analysis of the way the prosecutor is handling Samantha. It seems that even though she's got some sharp questions for her, she's really doing this kid gloves type cross-examination. Mm-hmm. She's using her nickname, Sam. Sometimes she's even saying, "Oh, Samantha."
Yeah, I think what's important is that the way she's walking her through the evidence is not really in that much of an adversarial tone. And because of that, she's not making herself the story. She's making Ms. Krebs' inconsistencies the story. And so the more prosecutors can take themselves out of the way and let the defendants and the witnesses testify, and the court and the jury get an understanding of how they are and how they relate and how the jurors relate to them, the more they have a chance of proving a conviction in this case. And so that's what she's essentially doing. She's not being too adversarial. She's asking the questions. She's leading her, and Ms. Krebs is following the lead, and she's showing a ton of inconsistencies.
Yeah, and we have about 20 seconds left. What are your thoughts on this defense case in chief? Are we expecting any experts to testify, or is she going to be the only witness?
In a case like this, unless they have an expert that can come in there and testify that it was actually a stabbing, where it was a self-inflicted wound, they don't have anything else to really talk about, because the autopsy and the expert that the prosecution has presented has said that it doesn't look like he killed himself. And until you can turn that evidence, that's going to be very difficult for them to prove that on the prosecution side, it's on the defense side, it's going to be difficult to prove that he
Quentin,
is the one that.
Thank you so much for being on the program.
We've got to hit our commercial break. Thank you for being on with us. More Court TV Live after this.